Hi everyone and welcome back to Filthy Jeep Adventures. Today we're going to do a review on our Maxxis RZR ATs. So we've been running the Maxxis ATs for about 25,000 Ks and we're currently running a 295 7017, which is just under a 34. So in 25,000 Ks these tyres have seen a lot. They've seen my daily driving, my to and from work, so lots of bitumen work, through to sand driving, so that's beach, also covering some desert as well, dirt tracks, which include forestry roads, normal trails, and obviously some of the more aggressive trails, particularly from a rock point of view, of things like the Birdsville track, the Strzelecki, and the Unadilla. So it's given, and a small amount of mud as well. So it has given the tyres a good workout, and I think we're well qualified now to give you a good, honest opinion of how these tyres are faring. Okay, so to give you a little bit more details, fitted to a Jeep Gladiator, so we don't have rooftop temp, etc. We do carry weight in the back, but not a huge amount, but we do tow, and we tow predominant of our trips away. So it is effectively loaded a fair bit during the entire times it's on its trips. And full disclosure, and being fair to the tyres, I haven't done the rotations that I should have done. It has been rotated, but it hasn't been rotated. I used to always rotate my tyres every 5,000 to 10,000 Ks maximum. They're probably been pushing out to closer to 15 between rotations. And in the entire time that we've had them, it's only had one additional wheel alignment. So 25,000 Ks, only one wheel alignment is probably not enough. But I've been very, very happy with the way they've been wearing. They've worn extremely flat. There's no scalloping, there's no uneven wear. It's been a very, very impressive wear so far, and I can't honestly say whether that's the tyre, whether that's the car, but to be fair, the tyres I took off, which were BFGs, muddies, they had worn terribly, so I would suggest it's probably not the car. It is a Jeep with live axles, so they're probably not the kindest of tyres. So I would say a lot of that wear does come down to the way the tyres have actually performed. So how have they gone so far? So 25,000 Ks. So original depth is 6 mil. So yeah, roughly, I don't know what the actual specs say, but actually measuring them myself is 6 millimeters off the spare because it's never been on the car. And basically I've measured around the car and it's pretty consistent all the way around, which I'm really happy about. And I've got basically 4.5 mil left. So I've used roughly 1.5 mil of tread over 25,000 Ks. To me that's pretty good, especially I believe the majority of the wear has come in this last trip. So the last trip we did was 4,500 Ks, and we covered basically 4 deserts. We covered the Unadilla, we covered the Strzelecki desert track and the Birdsville track, plus obviously the development road, etc. So there's a lot of off-road driving, and anyone who's done those trails knows that particularly the Strez and the Unadilla, the rocks are really aggressive. The Birdsville was actually really good, to be fair. It was probably the best condition I've ever seen it, but the Strzelecki was really bad. We're probably going to get around about anywhere between, to be conservative, 85 to maybe 95,000 Ks out of them if everything in the perfect world continues the way it's gone. So in the 25,000 Ks so far, we've had no damage to the tyres, touch wood. There is some slight nicking and cutting of the tyres, but very minimal, especially considering the trip we've just done. I'm actually really happy with the way they've gone from that point of view. So okay, so with different terrain, how do they go? So let's talk about all the different terrains. I'm going to start with road because the reality is, unless you've got a dedicated rig, that's where we're going to use our tyres the most. I have to say, when I first put them on, their road manners, both dry and wet conditions, and just generally how they felt on the road and the responsiveness, I would easily say they've been the best all-terrain tyre I've ever run on a off-road vehicle, particularly a Jeep. I was extremely impressed with the way they handled. Straight off when I put them on, it was a noticeable difference how quiet they were, particularly compared to the BFG muddies that came standard on the car. To be fair though, they were pretty poorly scalloped and they are not a quiet tyre anyway. But these are definitely one of the quieter ATs I've run. Extremely quiet and just generally give you a lot of confidence on the road, which is what you want when you're doing a daily drive every day. Live axle cars are not always the most well-mannered cars on the road, but I have to say that these Maxxis RZR ATs have been exceptionally good on the road and have definitely improved the feel of a car. So then there's sand. So with the sand we've done a lot of sand driving, particularly a lot of beach driving, and that's right through from Bribie, Stratty, double iron point, all that sort of stuff. So we've done quite a solid amount of beach driving, and we've done obviously a small part of the Simpson in our last trip. I think the combination of the very thick sidewalls and strong sidewalls on them, it means that you can drop down. I could be honest, we don't actually go that low on the tyres. We only seem to run them, if it's really soft, we might drop it down to 15, but 9 times out of 10, 20 PSI is more than enough drop for us. And with that, it gives you a really nice bulge at the bottom of the tyre. So it bags the tyre out really nice, gives you a very good flat surface, and it gives you exceptionally good grip. Even towing. In the past, I've had to drop at least 15 when I'm towing a trailer on the beach. I've done multiple trips now on the beach with the trailer at 20 PSI, and it's not even blinked an eye. So sand driving, excellent. I would rate them probably as one of the best tyres I've run. Okay, so then mud. Obviously, all-terrains are not a mud tyre, and a lot of people have to accept that. When you buy an all-terrain, you are buying an all-terrain. It is designed to do lots of things, not just one thing well. So the reality is, mud, from the limited running I've had, they've been fine. If you love to wheel in mud and that's what you know the rain's coming, you go out there and that's what you're hunting for, it's not the right tyre for you. But if you want to go out in all conditions and not be too particularly worried about it, they're definitely great. The limited running we've had, they've been fine. They clear well. Yes, they are an all-terrain, so they do clog up a little bit. But if you keep your revs right and everything like that, they do self-clean very well. But at this stage, the amount of mud driving I've done, they have been absolutely fantastic. But bear in mind, they are an all-terrain. Okay, so gravel. This is where I believe a majority of people spend most of their time when they're off-roading. We've covered everything from gravel roads, so forestry roads, fire roads, that type of stuff, through to four-wheel drive parks, just standard trails that you use when you go wheeling. Obviously through to obviously some of the hardest tracks in Australia, particularly when I say hardest, as in the hardest on tyres. So things like the Birdsville track, the Strzelecki, and also the trail over to Unadilla and to Coward Springs, etc., things like that. They're not particularly difficult trails, but they're iconic because they're really tough on tyres. You just have to drive along them, and even now, even with them, particularly the Birdsville just did, had been maintained very well, there was still tyres strewn everywhere. People go through tyres a lot, and if you've got a cheaper tyre, you will definitely struggle in those conditions. These have been incredible. They have been absolutely fantastic. I think the strength of the sidewall really shows itself in this situation. I've got to be honest, I didn't even drop a huge amount of pressure out of them. A lot of people will say that you can't do these tracks without dropping a 20 PSI, 25 PSI, etc. We ran probably early 30s, so a cold temperature about 31, 32. It was fine. It didn't even, like I said, there's no damage to the tyres or anything like that, so they handled it perfectly. The one thing they do, like they've done since day one, is they do tend to hang on to stones and tend to throw stones a bit, but that's the closer tread of an all-terrain. So you can even see there is the odd stone in them even now. It has got better as time's gone on. As far as towing with them, they were exceptionally good, gave me lots of confidence. Particularly braking, they were very, very steady and very sure-footed under brakes, even with a trailer. Yes, the trailer's got electric brakes, but still it does make an impact on the vehicle. You've still got weight behind you. Extremely impressed with the way it handled, and you know, we did, like I said, 4,500 Ks, and a significant amount of that was on gravel road. At no stage did I feel uneasy or uncomfortable or concerned at all. They gave me absolute extreme confidence. I was very impressed with them. So then even just standard wheeling, so if you're going to a four-wheel drive park or you're going out to the local state forest, etc., stuff like that, they're extremely good. So whether it's a steep ascent or a steep descent, they're very sure-footed. Drop your pressures, they bag beautifully, and they just crawl over things. And it's funny, I've gone out with lots of friends who've got different tyres, and just the difference where I can, admittedly, excluding the cars, because obviously the Gladiator will crawl down things beautifully. Just watching the video back of friends' cars and my car, just the fact that the way this holds the traction so much better, it's very impressive. So impressive, so much so that I've actually had a number of people that I wheel with regularly who have actually, since they've been out with us, have actually gone and upgraded to these tyres. So in conclusion, should you buy some Maxxis Razor ATs? If you commute daily in your car, so if it's a daily, if you then also like to tour, you also like to go wheeling regularly, personally I think these are possibly I hate to say it, but almost the perfect tyre. There's so many upsides to these tyres and so little downsides, I find them very hard to do anything but recommend you buy them. The caveat is, if you've got a rig that you've got that just wheels, that's it, it's just a built rig for going out and wheeling. The reality is you're probably not watching this video, you'd be looking at videos more likely around the high-end mud terrains, etc. If you are looking for an all-rounder that does everything so well and gives you extreme confidence on the road and keeps you and your family safe, you can't go past these tyres. My personal opinion is, these are the tyres to pick. So, have any of you used these tyres before? If you have, would love to hear the comments below. So if you found this video helpful and you'd like to see more reviews that we've done, click on this playlist up here. We look forward to seeing you on the next adventure. See you soon.